study intituled Predation by Free-Roaming Domestic Cats on Migratory and Residence Birds During Spring Passage in Southern Tunisian Oasis. This work was published in the European Journal of Wildlife Research. Every year, billions of birds undertake extraordinary migration between their breeding and wintering ground. During this journey, they cross continents and overcome ecological barriers, include ocean, mountain range, and one of the world's most challenging deserts, the Sahara. After flying across the vast ecological barrier, birds often arrive exhausted with their energy reserve depleted. At this crucial stage, stopover sites become vital. They provide birds with the opportunity to rest, recover, and replenish their energy store. However, stopover sites are not the safe refuge they may appear to be. While they offer vital resources, they also expose birds to numerous threats. Migratory birds face a wide range of challenges, including habitat degradation, pollution, hunting, and predation. Among these threats, predation is particularly important because birds at stopover often prioritize feeding over vigilance. In addition, they are frequently unfamiliar with local predator and environmental conditions, making them especially vulnerable. Predation by avian predator has long been recognized as an important source of mortality during migration. Raptors are frequently observed preying on migratory birds at stopover sites, while shrikes have also been reported to hunt small trans-Saharan passerines during their critical periods. Furthermore, migratory birds are more frequently using habitat-modified landscapes such as farmer, urban parks, oases, and private gardens. They may become target for a human-associated predator. Notably, domestic cats. Cats are now recognized as one of the most significant human-related threats to bird population worldwide. In fact, studies estimate that cat kills between 1.4 and 3.7 billion birds every year in the United States alone. Despite this growing evidence of their impact, little attention has been given to the effect of cat predation at migratory stopover sites. This lack of information is particularly evident in North African oases located along the northern edge of the Sahara Desert. Those oases are widely recognized as important spring stopover sites for trans-Saharan migratory birds. This gap in knowledge provided the main motivation for the present study. So our objective was to investigate the mortality of trans-Saharan migratory birds caused by free-roaming cats during spring stopover in South Tunisian Oasis, an area where such predation threat will be expected to be particularly significant. More specifically, we aimed to quantify the diversity of bird species killed by cats, examine seasonal variation in predation throughout the spring migration period because predation often increases with prey availability. We expect bird mortality to peak during the peak of maximum migratory passage, and determine whether migratory birds experience high predation pressure than resident species. We also hypothesized that migratory birds will be more vulnerable to cat predation than resident birds. Migrants may be less vigilant because they are focused on replenishing energy reserve, unfamiliar with local conditions, and often arrive in poor physical condition than resident birds. Therefore, we predicted that migratory birds will be captured by cats more frequently than expected based on their abundance, whether resident birds will show the opposite pattern. This study was conducted in Katena Oasis, located in southern Tunisia. Katena Oasis is a representative example of traditional oasis ecosystem. It consists of irrigated private farm characterized by dense vegetation arranged in three layers: data palms, fruit tree, and herb layers. This complex vegetation structure creates habitat conditions that contrast sharply with the surrounding desert environment and attract numerous of residents and migratory bird species. The oasis is made up of a small agriculture field mixed with a human settlement. About 1,200 families live in the area, and most own one or more fields where they keep domestic animals, including cats. In the oasis, cats receive little attention from their owner and remain freely. They search for food near house and garbage dumps and also hunt small wild animals in the surrounding fields. To test our hypothesis, we combined three approaches within a 68-hectare study area during the spring migration season of 2022. First, we quantified bird mortality by searching for feather remain. Second, we monitored the cat abundance throughout the study period. Third, we estimate bird abundance during standardized bird survey. Now, let me explain each of this approach in detail. To quantify bird mortality, we search for direct evidence of predation by counting survey throughout the spring migration season between early April and later May. Two observers searched the study area for fresh feather peels. Feather remain were collected and identified two species whenever possible. We also examined the characteristic of each feather peel to identify the predator responsible, such as signs such as concentrated peel of feather, partially consumed remain, and broken feather are typically of cat predation and allow us to distinguish cat kills from those of other predators. We also considered the potential contribution of other predators. However, field observation and ecological evidence strongly suggest that their role was negligible. For example, the common genet, the only other mammalian predator capable of hunting adult birds in the area, was extremely rare and is mainly nocturnal and arboreal, making it unlikely to produce the feather remain we observed. Similar raptor were absent from the study site. The only regular observed diurnal raptor was the Eurasian kestrel, which typically plucks its prey from elevated perch, leaving feather scattered over a wide area rather than in concentrated peel characteristic of cat predation. At the same time, we monitoring the abundance of free-roaming cats within the study area. During each survey, observers record the cats encountered and noted their color, sex, size, and when possible, to avoid counting the same individual more than once during the survey session. From this observation, we calculate an index of cat abundance expressed as the number of different cats recorded per hour on each survey day. Bird survey were conducted using the distance sampling method along a 7-line transect established within the 68-hectare study plot. The transects were nearly parallel and separate at least 20 by 200 meter. Individual transect length ranged from 288 to 555 meter, giving a total survey effort of 2,588 meter. The survey was carried out on the 3rd of May, a period that coincided with the peak of passage of trans-Saharan migratory bird in the study oasis, and fall within the middle of the breeding season for resident bird species in Tunisian oasis. This timing was chosen to maximize the detection of migratory species using the survey conducted outside the migratory peak would likely miss early and late arriving migrants. Now let's move to the main finding of the study. During the study period, active cats were recorded 17 times. The number of different cats detected per hour varied among surveys. Notably, we observed one cat consuming a bird, specifically a laughing dove. Moreover, cats were encountered more frequently on day when we recorded more pile of bird feather on the ground. This findings support the assumption that cats were mostly responsible for the recorder feather pills. It also provided confidence about the use of feather pill abundance as a proxy of bird predation by cats in the study area. In total, we collected 121 feather pills corresponding to 20 prey species, mainly passerines. Among them, 65% were migratory birds. Two species are particular conservation concern: the European turtle dove, classified as vulnerable, and the woodchat shrike, classified as near threatened on the IUCN Red List. Those are examples of feather pills collected during the study. As expected, we observed the highest level of bird mortality during the period of peak migratory passage in the study Oasis, which occurred from later April to early May. This pattern may simply reflect a direct effect of increased bird abundance, with more available prey resulting in more prey being killed. This is in line with conclusion from other studies indicating that cats are opportunistic predators that adjust their diet according to prey abundance. Assuming that migratory birds were in poor body condition and needed to quickly replenish energy reserve before departing, we expected that they would be more vulnerable to predation compared to resident birds. However, we found that both bird class were preyed open in proportional to the abundance in the oasis. The migratory bird did not seem to suffer higher predation by cats compared to resident one, which does not support the assumption of increased catchability among migrants. One possible explanation may be related to the migratory strategy adopted by the trans-Saharan migratory species in question. Species that migrate through the series of short flights with multiple stopovers may arrive in better condition and be less focused on feeding, which could reduce the susceptibility to cat predation. In contrast, long-distance trans-Saharan migrants they make fewer stops, such as the common white-throat may experience high nutritional stress upon arrival. This species in particular has been showing to undergo significant physiological strain during spring stopover in the study Oasis, and it's represented most of migratory bird kills recorded in this study. Finally, it's also possible that the catchability of resident bird was compared to that of migrant. Our study was conducted during the breeding season of the resident bird species known to nest earlier in South Tunisia. Young chicks are particularly vulnerable to predation by cats, and furthermore, the demanding of chicks may weaken adult bird, making them less vigilant while foraging, thereby increasing their susceptibility to predation by cats. In conclusion, this study helps fill an important gap by providing data on bird predation by cats in a region where such research has been limited. This result contributes to better understand of the global impact of cats on small wild animals. We also highlight that free roaming cats in North African oases may pose threats to Trans-Saharan migratory birds, and we encourage further research and conservation efforts to address this issue. And thank you for your attention.
La présentation a parlé de la prédation par les chats lors de l'escale des oiseaux migrateurs dans les oasis du sud de la Tunisie. Des millions d'oiseaux traversent la Méditerranée et le désert chaque année entre leur site d'hivernage et leur quartier de nidification. Les oasis servent d'escale importante pour ces oiseaux, mais la prédation peut constituer une menace pour ces oiseaux. Donc on a vu dans la présentation que les chats tuent par exemple des milliards d'oiseaux aux États-Unis chaque année, mais leur effet sur les migrateurs sur les sites d'escale, en particulier après la traversée du désert, reste mal compris et sous-étudié. Les oasis du Sahara sont reconnus comme sites d'escale d'importance au printemps pour les oiseaux après la traversée du désert. Donc c'est pour ça que cette étude a été conduite dans une oasis du sud de la Tunisie, composée de cultures et d'habitations avec environ 1200 personnes qui y vivent et qui gardent des animaux domestiques, dont les chats qui attaquent ces pauvres oiseaux. Euh, les recensements, donc il y a eu des recensements des oiseaux qui ont été conduits pour cette étude, et ainsi que des recensements des signes de prédation d'oiseaux. La présentatrice a bien précisé qu'il y a une absence générale de rapaces sur ce site d'escale et que la rareté des autres prédateurs, comme la genette, indique que la prédation est essentiellement due aux chats. Donc c'est pour ça que les chats ont également été recensés durant le pic de passage des oiseaux dans l'oasis, et qu'une corrélation du nombre de chats observés et du nombre de plumées découvertes a été notée. Donc 121 plumées ont été découvertes de 20 espèces d'oiseaux, dont des espèces menacées comme la tourterelle des bois. Donc il y avait une hypothèse que la mauvaise condition des migrateurs après la traversée du Sahara les rendrait plus vulnérables aux chats. En réalité, la prédation était similaire pour les migrateurs et les oiseaux locaux. Euh, Ceci est aussi dû au fait que les oiseaux locaux étaient en train de nicher au moment de l'étude. Donc l'étude a eu lieu en période de reproduction. Et donc pour conclure, cette étude apporte des données importantes sur la prédation par les chats lors de la migration des oiseaux en Afrique du Nord. Et cela demande plus de recherche et de mesures, car les chats pourraient constituer une menace plus générale pour les oiseaux migrateurs qui traversent le désert. Merci beaucoup pour votre attention.